Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Love from Lizi's February 2024 card kit called Make a Wish. As I'm recording this voiceover, the kit and most of the add-ons are still available, and I do have links provided in the description box below. The kit is filled with fun and cheerful colors, plus lots of sparkle. And here's a look at the adorable ephemera that's included in the kit. Lots of fairies, unicorns, frogs, and beautiful floral images. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. Instead of pattern paper this month, Lizi's included some beautiful glitter paper. And if you love the glitter paper, it's also available in the larger size as an add-on purchase. I used a Scallop rectangle die to cut out one of them. It has green on one side and a lovely pink on the other. I put ATG tape on the back and also some glue along that scallop edge. Then I'll adhere it onto my card base. I've already stamped out the sentiment, "Hope your day is as magical as you are." And this is a sentiment that's included on the stamp set in the kit. I stamped it on a stitched rectangle die cut, and the rectangle dies are from Love from Lizi. On the top portion of the rectangle, I'm adding 4 of the ephemera bows, 2 in pink and 2 in green, and I did put foam dimension on the back. I'll have the same colors crisscross from each other. I'm trying to get them all adhered straight. I did have to pull up one of them. I had it just a little too high. For a little extra sparkle on the card, I'm adding a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is my favorite peel-off color, pink holographic. This is the pinstripe style. I'm using the medium and also the narrowest width. I'll add 2 strips between the bows and the sentiment. And I did use the lines on my craft mat to help get that first peel-off nice and straight. Once I have the first peel off down, it's fairly easy to line up the second one. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put adhesive on the back of this piece, and layer it on some silver satin mirror cardstock. And this is cardstock that's included in the kit. Since it does have a specialty finish, I use some ATG tape and also glue. That'll help make sure it stays in place. Then I'll put glue on the back and add this panel on the glitter background piece. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some more Love from Lizi peel-offs in the pink holographic color. This is the mini twinkle style. I'll add 3 of the twinkle stars around the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 1. The glitter paper that's included in the kit is super sparkly, but no worries, the glitter does not shed at all. Most of the dies I'm using for my cards are from Love from Lizi. She has a fun assortment of nesting dies that have that faux stitch detail. I currently have the labels, rectangles, oval, and circles. I don't have the squares yet, but she also has squares available. Now moving on to card number 2. Using Love from Lizi stitched rectangle dies, I cut out 2 pieces, one from white pearlescent cardstock and the other from some soft purple pearlescent cardstock. And the pearlescent cardstock is an add-on that's available. I use one of the label dies with some light blue cardstock. I've already stamped the sentiment, "You deserve royal treatment." And this is a sentiment that's included on the stamp set. I'll be adding this colorful castle. I think it looks like a sand castle. But first I'm putting some ribbon on the very left-hand side of the card. I'm using the white skinny ribbon that's included in the kit. And Lizi's also included a roll of red line adhesive tape. This is about 1/8 of an inch wide. I'll add 2 strips of the adhesive down first, then 2 rows of the white ribbon. I'm leaving them just a little bit longer than my panel. That way I can wrap them around the back. I don't have to worry about the ribbon coming off later. To adhere the ends of the ribbon on the back side, I'll put another piece of the red line tape. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and also a little bit of glue along that outside edge since it does have the faux stitching. Then I'll adhere my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. With the ribbon and all of the faux stitching, I want to make sure everything is adhered down. So I will place a large acrylic block on top, and I'll let that sit for a few minutes so the glue dries. I did put foam dimension on the back of the castle ephemera. I'll remove the release paper and add my castle on the left side of the card. For embellishments, I'll add 3 silver star gems that are included in the kit, put them around the sentiment. But first I'll add one of the pre-tied bows that's included in the kit. It has this beautiful iridescent finish on it. To adhere the 3 star gems, I'll put a small glue dot on the back side. I'll add 1 star above the sentiment on the right side and the other 2 stars underneath the sentiment. I'll also add a small glue dot on the back of the bow, and I did fold the glue dot in half since I don't want any of the adhesive to stick out from behind the bow. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 2. For cards 3 and 4, I'm using the embossing folder that's included in the kit. It has a fun feature. If you want to cut out the very center, you can use the die that's included. I recommend cutting out that center piece first, then embossing the panel. If you emboss first, then cut out that center piece, you're likely to flatten some of that beautiful embossed area. And to hold that die in place, I'm using some tacky tape. The embossing folder also cuts out all these tiny flowers. I used some of the glitter paper that's included in the kit and inlaid those tiny flowers. Put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back side of the embossed panel, then I'll just add all those little flowers in place. On my card where I didn't cut out the center, I added the sentiment, "Thank you very much." This sentiment is part of the Enchanted Wood stamp set. There's also coordinating dies. It was part of a previous monthly kit, but you can purchase it individually. The pearlescent cardstock I use for the embossed panel is actually one of the card bases that's included in the kit. It has card bases and coordinating envelopes. I decided to use the card bases as cardstock. The card base was slightly smaller than an A2 size panel, so this piece was just a little bit narrower than my card base. To add that little extra detail on the right and left side, I'm putting a Love from Lizi peel off in rose gold. This is the straight style, so it is a little bit wider than the pinstripe. I remove the double-sided adhesive tape on the back of the embossed panel, then I'll put glue on the back and adhere my card front onto a card base. So now you can see that lovely shine from the peel off on the right and left side of the card. And I decided to keep this card very simple. For card number 4, I have the same embossed background, but I did use the die to cut out the very center. I'll be making a shaker card. I also inlaid the flowers using the same glitter paper that's included in the kit. I put double-sided adhesive tape around the window, put a piece of acetate down. Now I'll cover the background with some foam dimension. I use a thicker foam dimension around the very outside edge and a narrow foam strip to go around that circle area. The foam is about 2 millimeters thick, so plenty of space for the shaker mix to shake around inside the card. I'll make sure to get good coverage on the back side. By removing the release paper on the foam strip, it's easy to manipulate to go around that circle. I'll also add a little bit of foam in the area where it's the back of the fairy's wings. No need for any of the shaker mix to fall behind there. Now I'll set aside this panel and start working on the background. I thought it would be fun to add an image inside that window. Using Love from Lizi's The Enchanted Wood stamp set. This is the same set I used on the previous card. There's a large image with lots of splatter and little stars. I'll stamp it in the center of a piece of white cardstock. I'm using Honeybee Stamps embossing ink, And I do have my stamp set up in a mini MISTI. That way I can get a nice solid impression. And I will be embossing the image using Love from Lizi's Copper Rose Embossing Powder. It has a beautiful rose gold look once it's heat embossed. Now this piece, I already have the rose gold peel-offs on the right and left side, and I would suggest not adding those if you're doing heat embossing. I was really trying to be careful and not get heat along the edge, but I did end up melting just part of the peel-off on the right side. Now I'll put adhesive on the back. I'm using ATG tape and also some glue since this is a heat embossed panel and it did warp slightly. I'll place 2 acrylic blocks on top to help flatten out that background piece. The background is still a little bit warped, but once I add the shaker panel on top, it'll flatten out. Now it's time to add the embossed panel. The card kit includes 2 different bags of glitter. One is a super fine silver glitter and the other is a chunky glitter. And that's what I'm using for my card. Some of the pieces have this lovely iridescent finish. The card kit includes a small bag of the chunky glitter, but I believe you can purchase a larger bag as an add-on. Before adding the chunky glitter, I am using some anti-static powder. That way the glitter doesn't all stick around the outside edge. Now I'll remove the release paper on the foam. Try to be careful not to get that chunky glitter everywhere. I'll leave the card front upside down and add the card base on top. Give the card a nice press to make sure I seal all of that beautiful glitter in place. For a sentiment, I've already stamped and cut out, "You make the world more magical." And this sentiment with a coordinating die are from the same Enchanting Wood set. I stamped the sentiment on that inside cutout piece from the center of the embossed panel. I'll put foam dimension on the back and adhere the sentiment underneath the shaker window on the left side. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 4. For card number 5, I'm using some of this beautiful holographic sparkly cardstock. This is part of the specialty cardstock bundle add-on. And by itself, it's a little intense. I would never add that much holographic sparkle on my card. I have a piece of light blue pearlescent cardstock and Honeybee Stamps Scattered Stars A2 cover plate. I love how the die cuts out lots of tiny stars. On the back of this panel, I did put some double-sided adhesive tape, tried to avoid the areas where the cutout stars are. Now I'll put glue on the back, making sure to get adhesive at least all around the outside edge. And I'll adhere that piece on the silver holographic cardstock. I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. Now when you rotate the card, you can see all that beautiful holographic sparkle through the star cutouts. Next, I'll add a stitch strip die cut. I use some of the light purple pearlescent cardstock, and I also have a piece of white cardstock. I'll add the purple strip on the white cardstock piece, and I cut the white strip just a little bit wider. That way I had enough room to add a Love from Lizi peel-off. I'm using the clear iridescent glitter peel-off, putting one above and below, so it'll add even more sparkle to my card. One of the nice things about Love from Lizi's glitter peel-offs, none of that glitter sheds. It's all embedded. Now I'll flip over this piece, put double-sided adhesive tape on the back side, and adhere it at the bottom of my card, about 1/2 inch up from the very bottom. This card will be featuring 2 of the ephemera pieces, a couple of fairies or maybe they're pixies. One girl has this beautiful pink hair. I do have foam dimension on the back of both the ephemera pieces. I'll remove the release paper, put the girl with the pink hair on the left side and the little girl with the brown hair on the right side. For a sentiment, I'm adding Make a Wish. This is a die that's included in the kit. I did cut out the sentiment 3 times and glued all those pieces together. Gives it a little more dimension and stability. I'll put glue on the back and adhere it underneath the girl with the pink hair. Since I am adhering this sentiment on a pearlescent finish, I'll place an acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue dries. For a final finishing touch, I'll add some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in the silver holographic color. May as well add more sparkle to this card. I'm using the smallest size circles. I'll put 2 on the left side of the card and 3 on the right side. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 5. I love how this card turned out. So much sparkle. For card number 6, using more of the light purple pearlescent cardstock. At the bottom of the card, I'm adding a 1 1/4 inch strip of light green cardstock. And this is just cardstock from my stash. I'll adhere that about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. Using Love from Lizi's label die set, I cut out a white die cut piece, and I'll adhere that on the center of the card. About 1 inch up from the bottom, I'll be adding some of the light green skinny ribbon that's included in the kit. I'll first add 2 strips of the red line adhesive tape. You could wrap the ribbon all the way around the card, but since most of that will be covered up, I like to cut small pieces, and I cut them just a little bit wider than the card front. I'll put some adhesive on the back side, wrap the ends of the ribbon around the back, and I'll secure them in place with more of the red line tape. I'll remove the release paper, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. Love from Lizi's card kits always include some dies. This month there are 3 dies. One is a very detailed castle, there's a fairy, and the sentiment Make a Wish. For this card, I'm adding the castle. I cut it out from some of the glitter paper that's included in the kit. And you can see all that beautiful detail with the little swirls and hearts on the background of the castle. Using a pair of reverse tweezers, I'll flip over the castle and add glue on the back. Trying to make sure to get most of the areas with glue so it'll lay nice and flat on the card. I'll also be adding the sentiment Make a Wish. I cut it out 3 times, layered it all together, and for the very top piece I used some holographic cardstock from Love from Lizi. It's part of the specialty cardstock bundle that's available as an add-on. After adhering down the castle, I'll work on the sentiment. Since the S and H of the word wish will go off of the label die cut, I did cut out another piece, trimmed off just those 2 letters, and adhered it on the back side. That way when I add the sentiment, it stays at the same level. I'll place an acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue dries, since I am adhering part of that sentiment on a pearlescent finish. I'll be adding one of the pre-tied bows with the iridescent finish, trying to decide where I wanted it, and I'll put it in the lower left-hand corner, attaching it with a small glue dot. For a final finishing touch, I'll add 4 small hearts, and these are cut out pieces from the castle. I decided to save them since they work perfect for embellishments. They are fairly small, so I am using an embellishment wand to pick up those tiny pieces. I'll add all 4 of the hearts above the castle on the right-hand side and underneath the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 6. I think the castle looks beautiful cut out of the glitter paper. Now moving on to card number 7. I'll be using Love from Lizi's Full Bloom stencil. This was included in a previous monthly kit, but you can purchase it individually. I have a piece of pink cardstock from my stash, and I cut it out using one of the stitched rectangle dies. And using this stencil, I'll add a subtle background on the center of the card. The ink color is Catherine Pooler's Pucker Up. Next, I'll add a lovely shimmer splatter on the background using some gold watercolor paint. I selected the white gold color. And I did let the panel sit so the paint dried completely. I'll be stamping this sentiment directly on the cardstock piece. This card will be featuring another little girl ephemera piece, and I'll place her on the card panel so I can get the placement of this sentiment. Now I'll stamp the sentiment Make a Wish, and I will ink it up several times to get a nice solid impression. The ink color I'm using is Honeybee Stamps Intense Black Ink. This is my favorite black ink for sentiments. Now I'll layer this piece on some of the silver holographic cardstock. I'll put ATG tape on the back and also glue along that stitched edge, since I am adhering it on some specialty cardstock. The back side of this pink cardstock has a pearlescent finish. Next, I'll add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I already have foam dimension on the back of the fairy ephemera piece. I'll remove the release paper and adhere her above this sentiment. This fairy image is also included on the Enchanted Wood stamp set. So if you love to color, it would be the perfect set. Plus it has all the fun sentiments to go along with the fairy. The card kit includes a variety of different gem stickers. I pulled out one of them, changed my mind, and decided to add some little purple butterflies. These are from Love from Lizi's Butterfly Border Peel-Off Set. You can add the little border piece or just the inside butterflies. I love the design of the tiny butterflies, and I think the light purple color works beautifully on the pink background. As always, I'm very indecisive when placing bling on my card. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 7. This is my favorite card, but do let me know which card is your favorite. For card number 8, I'm using the small star image that's included on the stamp set. I have a piece of white cardstock, and I'll stamp the image just on the very right side of this panel. I'm using Catherine Pooler's Pucker Up ink color and also Skylight. Sometimes I'll do a first generation stamp, other times I'm doing a second generation stamp. And I'm rotating the image to get a very random pattern on the right side of this panel. Lizi loves to include tiny images on her stamp set. They're perfect for creating your own pattern paper. On the left side of the card, I'll add a strip of the glitter paper that's included in the kit. And I did cut that strip just a little bit longer than the white cardstock panel, so I'll flip it over, use my scissors, and trim off the extra. Next, I'll add a peel off along the edge of the glitter paper. This is the clear iridescent glitter color in the pinstripe style. Sometimes I'll cut the peel off a little bit longer than the panel and wrap the end around the back, but I don't for the glitter and also the moon dust peel offs, since they are a little bit thicker than the rest of the peel offs. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and layer my background piece on some more of the holographic cardstock. The background piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and the holographic panel is A2 size. So I'm leaving a wide enough border to show lots of that beautiful sparkle. Next, I'll add a stitch circle die cut. I cut the smaller one from some white pearlescent cardstock and the layering one from some pink cardstock from my stash. I'll put glue on the back and adhere it on the left side of the card. And I am following a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Cards TV. It's sketch number 53. I've already stamped out the sentiment on some pink cardstock. Sorry, I forgot your birthday. I'll layer the sentiment on the same holographic cardstock. Before adhering it to the card, I will pop it up with some foam dimension. I'm not adding foam dimension on the area where the sentiment will sit on the bottom of the circle. Instead, I'll put a scrap piece of cardstock there. Inside the circle, I'm adding 2 of the frog ephemera pieces. The frog is so cute. After attaching the frogs, I'll add the sentiment. To finish off the card, I'll add some of the flower gem stickers that are included in the kit. I'll put 2 in the upper right hand corner, 1 underneath the sentiment, and 2 underneath the images on the left side. They do have adhesive on the back, but I'm also adding a little bit of glue to make sure they stay in place. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 8. I love how this card turned out. The pink and green look so pretty together, and the frog images are adorable. Now I just need to forget somebody's birthday so I have an excuse to send this card. Now moving on to card number 9. For the background of my card, I have some light blue pearlescent cardstock. Using Love from Lizi's stitched rectangle dies, I cut out 3 rectangles from the glitter paper, trying to focus more on the blue and purple colors. I'll attach the larger rectangle vertically on the left side of the card and the 2 smaller rectangles horizontally on the right side of the card. I'm using glue to adhere all the stitched rectangles down since I am adhering them on a pearlescent finish. Now I'll flip over this panel, put ATG tape on the back, add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment Make a Wish, and I cut it out using, I think this is the smallest stitched rectangle die on Love from Lizi's set. Put glue on the back and adhere it on the lower rectangle on the right side of the card. And I also have 3 of the ephemera pieces, a sweet little unicorn, a purple dragon, and a little floral bunch. I did pop up the unicorn and the dragon with foam dimension, but the floral bunch I'll glue down in the upper left-hand corner. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in the silver color. I'm using the smallest size circle, putting 3 of them underneath the sentiment on the left side and 2 in the upper right-hand corner. Love from Lizi's mini shape peel-offs are great for embellishments, especially if you don't want any extra dimension. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 9. Now moving on to card number 10, and this is my final card design. I have a piece of white cardstock, and this is cardstock from the kit. I'm using Catherine Pooler's Skylight ink color and very lightly adding an oval on the center of the white cardstock. Now using the same Skylight ink, I'll tap a little bit on an acrylic block, spritz it with water, then using a paintbrush, I'll gently tap it over the white panel, creating this fun splattered background. I did set aside the panel to dry completely. Now I'll add 4 strips of this beautiful glitter paper that's included in the kit. I cut them out from the same paper. One end has pink, the other has green, and I'll be alternating the different pieces, so you'll have pink green on both sides. I did put double-sided adhesive tape on the back side. I'll remove the release paper and start adding all 4 of the glitter strips on my card, and I am putting them at a slight angle. The strips are wider than my panel. Once I have them all adhered, I'll flip over my panel, use a pair of scissors, and trim off the overhang. There's still a little extra on the one side, trying to catch that piece with my scissors. Next, I'll add a Love from Lizi peel-off on the top and bottom of the 4 strips using the clear iridescent glitter color in the pinstripe style, adding the widest width. And instead of wrapping that end around the back, I'll use my scissors to trim it off. Love from Lizi offers a wide variety of colors and styles of her peel-offs. Sometimes it's hard to pick which color to use. You may have noticed I first pulled out the teal mirror color, but decided to go with the clear iridescent glitter instead. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back, add my card front onto a card base. This card will be featuring another little fairy ephemera piece. I've already popped her up with some foam dimension. I'll adhere her on a stitched oval die cut, and I did use vellum for the oval. I'll first attach the fairy on the oval, then I'll flip over the oval, put glue on the back just behind the ephemera piece. That way it doesn't show through on the vellum. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some of the gem stickers that are included in the kit. I'll put 3 in the upper right hand corner and 2 in the lower left hand corner. And the gem stickers do have adhesive on the back, but it never hurts to add just that little bit of glue. It's never fun to pull out a card, then realize the gems have fallen off, so I don't mind taking that extra little step to ensure they stay in place. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 10. I decided to leave off a sentiment. I can always stamp it on the inside. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Love from Lizi's February 2024 card kit called Make a Wish. If you are interested in the card kit or any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Love from Lizi always has lots of great add-on products, so be sure to check those out. Some of them do tend to sell out fairly quickly. This is a monthly kit, so quantities are always limited. The only way to guarantee receiving a kit is to sign up and subscribe. And I do have links for subscribing in the description box below. I also want to share an update. This is my last Love from Lizi kit. I've decided to step down from Love from Lizi's design team, although I am not done from using Love from Lizi's products. I love her peel-offs, her dies, her stamps. She has so many amazing things. But for right now, I am taking a break from using monthly kits. I have lots of other fun videos coming soon to my channel, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.